The minute that you take your kelp out of the water, it starts to degrade and lose quality and lose value. We really started dialing in on these, what we're calling ambient temperature stabilization strategies. Take it from a product that degrades in as little as 12 hours out of taking it out of the water and keeps it stable for up to a year. This creates a feedstock for things like biorefineries and bioplastics and even biostimulants. Those off-takers can then metabolize a harvest that might only happen in a 4-week period. They can stretch out the extraction and the value added of that product over the entire year. The predominant methods of stabilization for kelp right now are drying and freezing. And it turns out that each of them also want a size reduction step first. In the case of freezing, you need to remove all the air from the product. And so breaking it up so that it sits flat in a solution is really important for freezing. And likewise, when it comes to drying, increasing the edge to surface ratio makes drying go a lot quicker, and so it lowers the energy input for drying. We're finding that many buyers in the marketplace prefer a flaked or a powdered kelp to a whole leaf dried kelp. Kelp farmers are working with buyers who might be incorporating kelp into their product stream as a novel ingredient, and those buyers and processors don't always have the answers. Getting into that generative collaborative space with your buyers, and even if people don't always have the answers, surfacing that lack of answers, right? So that there's transparency and that nobody's surprised by what they get when the product is delivered. In our journey to try and find really good machines for this application, we looked high and low. We really didn't leave any stone unturned. Kelp is kind of a funny material. It's pretty pliable and leathery, so it doesn't always cut well like a machine that cuts a rigid material, like a wood chipper, which was also tried. And it's also very strong and tends to wrap around things, so things like augers can often be fouled by kelp. What's the simplest, cheapest thing that'll work for this application, that's durable, that doesn't require a specialized technician to fly in from a long ways away if something goes wrong with it? Even though it is very well constructed, 2 people can actually move it and position it up on a stand or wherever you want to use it. So one of the reasons that we really like working with this machine is that it doesn't use any gear reduction or any other interface to the motor. So it's just a shaft-driven direct drive machine, which means that it can be run from an electric motor, a gas motor, or even a hydraulic motor. This machine is flanged on the infeed and the outfeed, and it's designed to be put into a mechanized line that's being fed by a conveyor belt or an auger or some sort of a mechanism like that. For our application, we're hand feeding it and hand collecting the outfeed. The other thing that really drew us to this machine is that you can control the particle size of the output from it. The ability to adjust particle size and to iterate and experiment is really important. We've been storing the kelp in 55-gallon drums, and so just a 5-gallon paint bucket from Home Depot works really well. It's the right shape to collect the output. We're very interested in strategies and systems that can be distributed that might cost $50,000 that a good-sized farmer could own and maybe rent out to some of their neighbors that were smaller and getting started in the business, that a farmer cooperative would make sense for them to purchase and operate, and maybe operate as a service for other farms in the area.